if you've got long form content, and this is why you and I, or all three of us, love long form content, is that you have so much more opportunity with it. If you've put it through, I don't know, Riverside or whatever, and you've got yourself 50 clips, why would you not put all those 50 clips out?
For people who maybe don't know you, what starting advice would you give them if they're looking to build their, I'll use your terminology, ecosystem, right? Or they're looking to start out on video? What should we do?
First people advice. What are you trying to achieve? All right. What do you want to do? Because we're never going to tell you to do something you don't want to do. What we are going to say is, though, regardless of those things, you do have to lay your foundations down. And this is something that a lot of businesses don't do.
If you were going to give advice to either yourself 10 years ago or the other person 10 years ago, what would you say?
Be memorable. Be as memorable as you can be. And if you think you're boring, you possibly are, I'm not being rude, but that will be memorable in its own way. You can still find your audience.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to a brand new episode of What's Missing in Marketing Today. Today is going to be a bit of a roller coaster, I think deliberately. Today I'm with Alan and Emily from Yellow Tuxedo. Welcome to the show, guys. How's it going?
I just can't believe you've got us back for a podcast all these years later after knowing the first time.
It was great. I loved the first one, so I thought we'd want to do it in person this time.
It's just, you know what? It's just exciting. We like talking about what we do. We like chatting with other people. So this really is a kind of a no.
And we let you out of the house.
Oh, yeah. We don't. We had said that. We were just chatting to the others here. We're like, we don't get out of the house much. So when we do get out, it's like we have to remember to stop talking at times because we just sit opposite round our dining table working. So yeah, it's like we've escaped.
I love it. I can't wait. But before we get into it too much, what do you both think? It might not necessarily be the same thing, but what do you think's missing in marketing today?
Do you want to go first?
No, you can go first.
No, because we have this conversation quite a lot, and I think in terms of what's missing in marketing is simply the human touch. And I think we've got to the point now with a lot of small business owners where it gets quite formulaic because this is like how you market your business. And we forget sometimes that actually to be a bit more human, to realise to talk to people on a two-way street. You're really good at that, aren't you?
Yeah, well, yeah. I think you just basically handed it over to me because you ran out of what to talk about. Yes. I think there's two things, actually. I think there is that human touch. There's still there's a large desire to broadcast. Let's broadcast. When actually the conversation needs to happen. We still, audience growth is what we're talking about. And I think audience involves an interaction. I mean, this is all buzzwords, but the principles sound, right? So we want as businesses to grow an audience of people who want to follow us, fans of our brand and everything else. So human kind of touch is an important part of that. And you see that, I'm not going to diss any social media platforms, particularly LinkedIn, but LinkedIn's very broadcasty. I've done this. And you sometimes go through the comments and they might have 5 comments and they've replied to 1. And it's like, take the time to reply. We're all busy. Take the time to reply. The other thing I think's missing, and human connection is like the big thing, like that's what we call it in Yellow Tuxedo. The other thing is what we call and. It sounds stupid. But I think so many people think they can do one thing. It's like, I'm just going to go networking. I'm just going to do LinkedIn. I'm just going to go on Instagram or TikTok. And you know what? For an extremely small percentage, that will be fine. For everyone else, it's what else are you going to do? I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And one of the kind of realizations, I'm gonna pick on LinkedIn a little bit. I'm okay with it, right? But it just gives some very good examples. But you see the LinkedIn kind of coaches, they go, oh, LinkedIn's this, I'll teach you to that. It's brilliant. I did this one post that got me 5 leads and all of this, but they're also on TikTok, on YouTube, on Thread, and that's fine, right? And when I say and, it's not just about and other social platforms, it's and collaborations, and macro, and email, right? You have to do more than one thing. And now, I won't mention names, but we were chatting to an owner of a networking group where I'm really gutted, I can't remember the numbers, right? But they said quite a large amount of people had left recently. And of that amount who had left, a large percentage had left because their business had closed, right? Sad times for them. But in talking to them, the vast majority had only gone networking. There was no, I nearly said online ecosystem, but I got punched under the leg because it was like straight in with our jargon. But there was nothing else for the people they were connecting with to explore. And in this very modern world where we jump from platform to platform, we consume email, even WhatsApp, right? We've got a WhatsApp group off of the Funkpreneurs Big Day Out this year, in June, but people are still chatting from that day. And there's we all work in different ways. So we have to accept that people work in different ways.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because when I pivoted in May, as you may have seen the post, and I was doing certain things, like when we first met, really, really well. I was doing lots of things, but I was doing them really badly, right? And then through lots of things, I pulled back on loads of stuff. I was like, right, what do I actually want to spend a lot of my time doing? What do I think is actually best suited to the business? And what can I personally do to give the best, right? To give my best. Anyway, fast forward to 2025 May, I basically then decided it's going to be yes and strategy. So as long as I can continue the consistency and everything that I'm sure we're going to get into and do it well, it'll be yes and. Yes and a live stream, yes and a podcast, yes and content, yes and reviews, yes and an unboxing, etc. And the key that I found was, that's why I'm now successful. That's why I'm now busy, right? Yeah. It's not just a binary, oh, someone told me a networking meeting and that's why, right? I personally only do content now, but that's just because of just the nature of the business, time and leveraging.
It's efficiency. It's efficient. It's totally efficient. That's why I love the fact when you said we're going live in this one today, I mean, absolutely. Why would you not? And if you can get past the confidence of being live on camera, you do that when you're talking to your customers directly. You don't go, sorry, can we just record this and send you this to you? You know, you would have that conversation. You'd have that in a shop. You'd have that in an office. So doing it as a live stream is so efficient. You get people who are watching live now, hopefully, lots of you. Thank you.
Mum.
Hi, nice. Hi, Mum. Can't even get onto an internet, let alone.
That is true.
But you do. But then you've got the content after that. Then you're going to slice and dice it and do what you do best. Why would you not be efficient like that? It makes total sense.
People asked me the other day, they were like, why do you just not live stream it? And I was like, well, I want my source. I want to add, I want to have the trailers on the front end. I want to be able to multi-cut, I want to, etc. I want to be able to either utilize AI or do my own clips, etc. And I think you can, like building off our original point at the beginning, I think you can do all of it, right? When should someone not, though? Because we're talking as season pros, right? We're people who know we can do content quickly, right? We can distribute quickly. We can articulate quickly. We can articulate well. We know what we're doing. That isn't everyone.
No, it's not everyone. It's not at all.
Not everyone wants the same thing either, which is just as
that's
important.
A huge thing, is that do you need to, do you want to, those two big directors there. But also, you're right, we are in the marketing sphere. You are in the market. It's
just for the record.
We're online visibility specialists.
Of course. We're not marketing.
And that's a very big thing. And we
don't use the dirty word.
Marketing's a thing, right? We're not that because we don't want to be in someone else's business and to get to under. We want to help you be more efficient, and that's a massive thing for us: is efficiency and time and space to be able to do the things you want to do. When it comes to a muggle, I know that's a question you asked before. As a muggle, not everyone's got all of those skill sets. I completely understand that. But also, what are you trying to achieve with it? Where are you trying to get to with it? We need to obviously show best practice of what you could do and how far you could stretch content. Because obviously, if we can do that, we can help teach that as well. And we can show, like, we are doing this and we've reaped all of these rewards from doing X, Y, Z. When it comes to, I don't know, a forest bathing instructor or an artist or a plumber, they're not always going to have that skill set. But it doesn't always matter. I think we always show best, and I put a post on LinkedIn just yesterday, and all the marketers in the world are going, Emily, shut up. But in terms of email marketing, so I have a client I work with on a regular basis. It's a great story, isn't it?
No, I was thinking about the marketers all DMing you, but they didn't actually happen.
This is best practice for email marketing. Yeah. But he's been sending out a news that we worked on a strategy back in the spring, and we worked on a strategy, and he's been creating it, and he's doing it for himself, because we're very much about doing it for yourself if you can. And then about a week ago, he realised that all of his subject lines for the last 6 months had main newsletter. And he hadn't changed. He didn't know how to change his subject line. And then he was beating himself up about the fact that, I haven't thought about the strategy behind my subject lines, and I haven't thought about how to get them in the hook and what the hook should be and how long it should be and all the things that we kind of over-process in our heads. His open rate was 38%. Brilliant, fantastic. I'd love 38%. And his click-through rate was 4.6. Like, nothing had changed. Those percentages were fine. But we kind of put ourselves on this, you should be doing this, and it should be up here, and this should be the better, and you can't do this for yourself. But ultimately, yes, he could outsource that and get an email marketing company to kind of really shine and polish it. Would they always get the same return? I don't know. We don't always know that sort of grey area between the black and white. We don't know it. I think if you're at a point where you want to be out there a lot and you want to do video and you really can't pick up the camera, that's when, yes, absolutely, find someone who can help you to do that, because the block to the tech shouldn't be the reason that you're not doing something. So someone can always come and help you out that way. I think you want to say, Chachi in the corner.
No, I mean, I agree. I think you have to choose a medium to start with, though, right? Like for me, I just did video because it was the one that suited me best, right? Now, you would say, and I would say, I need to be doing more. Yeah, absolutely. But I need to be doing it more sustainably, right? So when I do email marketing, I'm going to do email marketing in my way properly, right? When I do blog writing again, it will be properly. I've tested it. I know what I'm going to do. I know how I'm going to do it. But I don't turn on those taps until I know I'm going to be able to keep those taps running. The same thing with the live stream, the same with etc. Like I'm in a very grateful place, but still a stage where time is the main barrier because I only have a certain amount of time. We're recording this like towards the middle of October. This won't be out until December, the pre-recorded version, and that's simply because the only way I can be consistent is by doing it. When I have a window of time to record some shows, I record some shows, and then I bank them and so on. For people who maybe don't know you, what starting advice would you give them if they're looking to build their, I'll use your terminology, ecosystem, right? Or they're looking to start out on video, they're looking to start out with blog writing, etc. How? What should we do?
Well, all right. So I think the answer to this is also a carry-on point from what you were just talking about. You'll turn on the taps when you're ready. And that's really important. So it has to, you have to start with what are you trying to achieve? Yeah, that's the first thing, right? What do you want to achieve? Because if you go, I want global domination, then you get a list like this, right? And if you go, nah, I just want to, actually, we got someone we can talk about. So Callie, client of ours, member of the Digital Circus, the team community we founded. And I remember when we first started, she said something like this, I'm just trying to make enough money to take the family on holiday, right? So she joined the Digital Circus. We've been working with her. She comes to the group sessions. There's no one-on-one in it particularly, other than just answering the odd question. And recently she's got, it's all kind of kicked in and working. I'm getting so many inquiries organically now that she said, I don't need to post on social media. And we take that as a win, right? She takes it as a win because she's got, she can pick and choose what she does. And we're going, we don't see social media as a bad thing, but it can be a bad thing if you're feeling you have to do it to help you get to where you're going, right? Because then the mindset's different. But for her, she's like, well, I just do the odd posts for the people who are trying to validate me, but actually everything's coming in through the online ecosystem she's built. And that's really good. So going back to first people advice, what are you trying to achieve, all right? What do you want to do? Because we're never going to tell you to do something you don't want to do. What we are going to say is, though, regardless of those things, you do have to lay your foundations down. And this is something that a lot of businesses don't do. And the foundations are as simple as making sure your website's working for you. Because if we hear again, I paid someone $1,000 to build my website, but it doesn't do anything, we go, why is it doing nothing? You do. You don't. You say, why is it doing nothing? Why? It should be bringing you in kind of visitors into your audience, into your ecosystem. And then it's going to build it out from that. How are you going to nurture your audience? You've got to choose something. So it could be like social media. I recommend email. So an off-platform audience is always better than an algorithmic platform. And email is so powerful because they want to be there. They give you permission to email them and there's no algorithm, right? Or even what you could do a WhatsApp group if you only want a small client base, so keep in touch with them. And then you build it out from there. So that's what you do. You align it to your goals, start with the website and build out. And the simplest thing of your website is imagining it like your shop, right? Like Tesco's and everything else. The way we explain...
Or other supermarkets are available.
Other supermarkets are available. We can talk about Aldi in a minute. We like that as well. They've got a good example to bring up. But think about your ecosystems, and what you're doing is building your Tesco's. And then this inner circle is like your kind of club card customers, right? And then the outer circle of this ecosystem is all of the Tesco's advertising, branding, touch points and everything else, which we would call virtual doors into your ecosystem. You're just building it out like that. But the second you put something online that's not connected up, not optimized, not leading back into your ecosystem, it's just a wasted opportunity. It's just a standalone post doing nothing, or a standalone directory entry or whatever, just not really connecting up. So make sure it's connected up. Start slow, align it to you.
And know where you're trying to get to and how people are going to find you. The biggest thing. We talk a lot about keyword strategy with that kind of more SEO hat on, and I think so many people haven't even done that work to start off with. Like, what do you want to be known for, and how is someone going to find you? And I think when we talk about Google quite a lot of the time, it's just one huge bookshelf, right? It's one big library. It's a really clever robot. but it's not a mind reader. And I think if you don't know what you want to be known for, how is Google ever going to know what you're known for as well?
It's such a good analogy. If you think of Google as a library, okay, so you've built your website, you've written a book, not literally, metaphorically written a book, right, your website.
Well, lots of people are writing
books. I know, that's why. Like, and it's like, what a lot of people do is, I've got my website, open the door to the library, Google, and throw it in and walk out. Yeah. Right? How the heck do you find that? Whereas what you need to do is almost anchor it down within the library, tell Google what space it needs to go on, so then people can find it. And then what happens is this unbelievable thing, Google will show it to people who are looking for it. Wow, like that, you know, it's like, it's there, it's all there.
Is that all going to change though? With AI?
Well, we have this conversation a lot, and like AI is changing the world. We know it's changing the world, but at this point right now, it still has to be human-led. There's an element of human-led there, and to a point where AI completely takes over the world when the robots are, and we're going to be, proper, War of the Worlds, which could be tomorrow, you never know. But we still have to have what is right now, and right now is the fact that we need to be really crystal clear. It's still machine learning, where it's looking at human content, feeding that machine, and we still need to be front and centre with that up until they tell us otherwise. So we can't predict the future.
Because the problem is, right, like, unless you're CEO of AI company, right, you could use OpenAI, you could use one of the others, Google, etc. You may know the future, yeah, but you haven't built it yet. No. You don't know it 100% is going to happen. So we might just be in a world like everyone's going, well, what happens when when I can plug as much video as I've got into me, and then I've got an AI version of me that looks as identical, has the same nuance, everything. But that might never come, ever. It might, sure, and you should be planning in some ways with your head.
Get and the crystal ball out, everybody.
Isn't this like 3D TVs? They said 3Ds were coming, they came, and then they disappeared.
And then they disappeared, yeah.
Yeah, because it didn't actually. I think. Sorry.
No, I say in terms of what AI especially on from the Google platform is right now, is that if you're looking for a short, sharp answer, absolutely front and center will be the AI generated answer, and it will give you that. It'll still give you the links to play. If someone's looking for an in-depth conversation, or they still need to have that human at the other end of that website to interact with, they're looking for a videographer, they're looking for a plumber, they're still going to have to get to that website at some point, and they're still going to want to interact with you, and they're still going to want to ask you questions and look at your FAQs and all of the things that we should be doing anyway. That's not going to change even if AI takes over the world, because they still need to talk to a human at the end of that transaction.
It's different intention, isn't it? Asking AI to write you a blog is very different to going, I'm looking for a plumber, I'm looking for an online visibility specialist, I'm looking for...
people looking for online visibility specialists.
The other thing, I think there's a huge opportunity for... that. We touch on lots of things in our model, but we can talk a bit about SEO and email marketing, content marketing, but SEO in this one. So if you don't optimize it, how does it get found, in our library analogy? It can't, or it can, but it will take a lot longer. The other thing is I saw a fascinating post about AI shopping, which, to be honest, I hadn't quite explored until I read this post. And it was like the opportunity for the small businesses from AI shopping, because the AI is using different search terms. So when you go local glasses to me or something like that, rather than it going glasses, it's going best glasses for 2025 in Hampshire and things like that. So it's using broader search terms, which is the world of the small business, because the big businesses own all the short tail keywords. Our small businesses, we want the long tail, because we get a narrower audience who will be more engaged because we're answering their search query. Whereas, supermarket, going back to supermarkets, will be owned by a supermarket, right? Yeah. So a small supermarket won't own that, but a supermarket specialising in local produce in Hampshire, best in 2025, all of a sudden, AI is liking that. So there's a huge opportunity by ensuring you're there for when AI is looking for these answers. Yeah, that AI shopping was new to me. I found it quite interesting.
Do you think marketing's too complicated for solo people now?
We make it complicated.
I think business is complicated.
It's
so much bloody noise, isn't it?
This is why we started our business, is the fact that it's a really noisy space. And my LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok now is filled to the brim of adverts for marketeers who are telling you what you should be doing, or buy this here. And I don't bloody well know. I don't know. It's too much. And if you are a muggle type person who's not really into marketing, it can feel really overwhelming. It can. I get overwhelmed, and I know what we should be doing.
I feel it oppressive is what I've been saying. Yeah. It's like if you're a business owner, a small solopreneur, freelancery type business, I feel that the kind of narrative and noise is like an oppressive cloud of you should be doing this. Yeah. And you've got, people like, I'm trying to think of big business, Alex Hormozy, Gary Vee, the big influencers going, you need to do this. You've got coaches on LinkedIn going, you need to do this. You've got marketeers telling you to do this. Yep. We're telling you to do something. And it's like, which one do you listen to? Because some are similar, some are not. It's like, it is.
And I think it really is simple. You can extrapolate as much as you want. You can be really simplified. You can do everything like we were talking about earlier. You can do all of the things. No one can tell you you're wrong to do that. That's why I always get quite frustrated when you hear the influencers just do one thing and do this. Well, that's fine if it works for you, but you may want to do more. And if that's out, fill your boots, crack on, do you. And I think what's missing these days is that we're so focused on the structure of marketing that we forget the creativity of marketing. And like I look at our social, not ours, we look at other people's social media and it's like really transactional. Small business world is I have a thing to sell, buy my thing, I'm going to target my ideal client, talk to my ideal client, and hopefully you buy my thing. But you look at the big brands, like we were talking about Aldi before, weren't we? Or any other big, they're so creative and fun and not taking themselves seriously or just connecting with you on that human level. They don't overthink the fact that they haven't done 5 LinkedIn posts this week and done this over there and sent that email. They don't do that. So we need to actually look at those bigger brands and go, how can we make our life simpler, show up the way we want to show up, and stop worrying about the fact that, TikTok's done this new algorithm change this week and that's done over there and that person's telling me to do this and I should do this. Like, breathe. just breathe and do you.
Done's better than perfect any day of the week.
Well, that example of the email
exactly
son, he got it out ultimately. The message in his email was brilliant. He still got people clicking through in that email. Yes, he could have been shiny with a really profound, opening statement.
I got really excited on our email. So we send a weekly newsletter on a Thursday. It's a kind of, we share some thoughts on kind of the business world and what we do with some hints and tips and some other and community news and blah, 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 it goes out. And I started adjusting the subject line and I noticed the open rate went up by 10%. I'm like, Emily, I've worked out how to increase a 10% open rate.
You had it.
No, I hadn't. And so the next week I followed the same formula, 10% increase, next week 10%, week after 10%, and then week after, same thing, no, back down to normal. So I was like, well, hold on, what's going on here? Look, the 6 weeks that it had gone up with the 6 week summer holidays. So we'd increased the 10%, So the point is, the subject line did nothing, but the summer holidays, people were sitting there reading our email who were usually rushing around. And it's like, that's fantastic. But there's me thinking I was really clever, securing the best kind of subject lines ever, taking ours up from about 38 to 48, when the reality was, it was just the summer holidays, which is good.
I think people... They don't, because sometimes people use it as an excuse, right? I'm slow because it's Christmas. I'm slow because it's the summer. I'm slow because da-da-da-da-da. But then I have a conversation with someone, and I'll just use MySpace as an example. So I have a conversation with a videographer. They'll be like, I haven't had any jobs in, things are really slow. Da-da-da-da. I was like, okay, but when did you last show your work? Yeah. When did you last write a blog? When did you last make a YouTube video? When did you make a passion project? So on, so on, so on, so on. And I guess there's a level of a self-accountability that you need to have yourself. So like for me, regardless how busy I am, Brunton Media will be the top paying client in respect to my output, because I know, unfortunately, right or wrong, some clients will still work with me. Other clients will choose to go different ways, go different paths, whatever. So I need to make sure there's a bloodline constantly, refilling that pipeline. And even though now, as the time we record this, I'm basically not looking for any more work to a 25 at all. Not really at all. But grateful place to be. But I still should be having the marketing turned on so that when we hit 26, I'm busy still. Right? It's not going to be magic. It's not going to just appear. And I guess that leads into a question of like, is it just doing those things and building those reps that you like, I'm going to commit to doing video because I love video, I love etc. Or I'm just going to do email, etc. And do we sometimes get dragged away from shiny things? Like, oh, shorts are really strong right now and I need a podcast and everyone's got a podcast and then people are doing live streaming and da-da-da-da-da.
And that's the conversation we have so often with our clients, especially clients within Digital Circus as well, is that there is no magic bullet, right? There is no, but what you do need to do...
There isn't a magic bullet, realistic. I know we've said and we've said human connection.
It's doing the bloody work. It's
just working hard, right?
And like, you can, like, we're all adults. Well, majority of us are adults. A lot of...
Hello. Adulting is the biggest con in the world ever.
Well, we can tell. We have a structure and it works for us, right? And we're not going to say it doesn't work because we spend a lot of time doing those things. It does take time. And yes, there are two of us, I get that, but it still takes time. We still run a family around it. We still try and do other things.
We have to make twice the wage.
We have to make twice the wage in our business. There is no plan B. So we have to do the work. And like, I can repeat it over and over to someone going, yeah, but you haven't done that. And you keep saying, I will get round to it. Just have some self-discipline and do it. And if you do the thing and it doesn't work for you, at least you can come back and say, I've tried. And then I'm going to maybe work on the next shiny thing if you really need to. But until the point where you just sit down, commit and go, this is going to take time. I have to find the time in my week. I only have these amount of hours in my day, but I'm going to have to sit down and do it at some point. Just do the thing. And then stop getting blindsided by, TikTok or Clubhouse. Is Clubhouse even still alive? No, it's not, is it? But we all run to it.
But it's okay when it fills a space because we know people who did quite well out of Clubhouse.
Of course, but
it's fine.
But it's not long.
Thing is, I
term.
think it's a bandwidth thing, though. Right? Like I had this conversation with Chris a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about like you should be doing the authenticity, the add value piece, etc., stuff like this. But if you can trend jack on top of all of that, then absolutely you bloody should. Right, because it will add into your overarching the number of views I can obtain, which means conversion, blah 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 blah. But if it's to sacrifice the value add, just can it off, don't do it. Right, is my view, and it's purely a bandwidth question, and that's why I think you've got to have some level of tough love either from someone else or yourself, which is I think what you were talking about like you've just got to get it done. Right, I don't think. And maybe you've had this in friends and yourself as well, but like for me, unless you're close to me, I don't think people quite realise how hard I work. Right? Everyone's like, come on, you're invisible all the time, you're everywhere. Da, da, da. Yeah, but that's because I work literally every single fucking hour of the day. Right? And it's not that I'm just like, cause there's then the smart versus the working hard argument, right? But the thing is with AI, if you're working hard for the same amount of hours I am, and it's just compounding on top of it, right? So I think it's not just a binary of, I use AI and then I can go and chill for the 5 hours, right? Because it saved me 5 hours. What you should actually be doing is, it saved me 5 hours, so I can do 5 hours more work of the work only I can do, right? And then you actually 5 times more or etc., right?
Yeah, or the thing you love, like within it. So, networking's a great example. And it's like, actually even driving here, so we live half an hour away and we're chatting to you for an hour, let's just say. And so that's 2 hours, but that 2 hours doesn't factor in walking, parking, popping, so it's 2.5, it's possibly 3 hours. Yeah. It's actually, if I'm brutally honest, an inefficient use of our day, right? Yeah. Because we've squeezed everything in the school run, but actually we want to do it, we want to do this. And those systems, those automations and the AI, whatever you're doing, allow the things you want to do to happen. So whether you're replacing it with something else or adding more in, or you're going, actually I just want to talk to people. So I was chatting to an AI guy, James, I met from Ireland the other day, and we were talking about an AI CRM that looks at your entire online
Stop
presence.
Giving the idea away, because someone's going to go and build it.
Yeah,
and
but
we're
I'm quite
miss
happy
that
someone
one.
else built. We're not about to build it, right? But it was kind of, I don't actually want this because it does something I don't want. I'd rather do so. But to the extent where it looks at your entire online presence, so it will factor in likes on posts, comments, email open rates, previous stuff, bookings, DMs and everything. And if someone went past a trigger, using AI audio, it could send them a voice DM, because that's our thing, voice notes, and it go, hey there, it's Alan here, blah, blah, blah. Would you love a virtual cuppa? Haven't spoken to you in ages, or would love to get to know you. Here's a link. And as much as I would feel that's not quite cool, what that would actually allow me to do is just focus on the chatting to people rather than working out who to chat to. And I really like that idea. I don't know how happy I would be with it sending a voice AI note, but we've played with it.
At least to trigger who you need to go and send a message to.
Absolutely. So if someone wants to build that, just give us a shout when you've done it, because we've got other things to do, like go on adventures, take people to Ponce Park for the day. Absolutely. We have to talk about some fun stuff at some point.
Absolutely. I mean, just quickly on the voice cloning note, like that you can, like now, as of today.
We use Riverside we've played with it. It's brilliant.
Alan said to me,
absolutely clone your voice.
I could
period.
not tell the difference. Yeah. He played something to me and he said, "Do I sound alright? Does my Microsoft microphone sound a bit tinny?" And I went, "No, it sounds really good." He went, "Yeah, it's not me."
I put a post out on LinkedIn with it. I put a post out. So I got the audio, and then over the top of it, I did a video of me doing like a phone jacker voice out. Like this, and put it out, and people go, no, it sounds just like you. That's what I thought it did as well.
Scary.
You know, so I think, I mean, moving back to the like what we started the conversation on, like we might get to there with video, right? We might, right? But the thing is, then I go back to my previous conversation about working smart. Okay, well then technically, if we've all got that ability, I could technically script this entire podcast if I wanted to, or get AI to, and then we could have a 45-minute podcast we weren't even there to do. Now, should we? That then comes the question, right? Because is the energy going to be different? Yes, AI can mimic us, but the nuance, is it ever going to... We don't know, right?
No, and also, in terms of your own
Sorry,
self...
it exists. Come back to it. It exists. I watched a video this morning on it.
But forgetting on the output, it's surely about your own sort of, I don't know, self-gratification of enjoying to do these.
As I was going to say, but surely if you enjoy podcasting,
you want to
surely that's counterintuitive.
You wouldn't AI it out if you enjoy doing it.
No, but what we're saying is like we can get so far from it, but ultimately, what is the end of it? What's the ROI? You know, the ROI would be, yes, getting some efficient content created, but the ROI also has to be
You're so businessy.
I'm sorry.
You said ROI and ideal client
I wrote a blog
today.
that had ROI on it this week, and I kind of felt dirty.
Honestly, who even are you? You've changed.
It's like, it's what you're trying to get out of your business, and I think something Alan and I have been exploring recently in terms of time and space in your business and what your bigger picture is. Actually, we don't get into business to go, what else can I do to be really efficient today? Like you go
unless your goal is,
But also you choose your chosen field because of your love of the field, or the fact that you want to be outdoors more, or you want to chat to people, or you want to, whatever that is for you. I don't know what everyone else's sort of end goal is, but for me, I like humans. I really like humans. Well, some humans, not all humans, won't they? But I want to.
No, we like chatting.
I think in a world where I could not chat to another human being again, I'd be really, really flipping lonely, and I don't want that. So yeah, AI might be efficient, but I'm still going to want these kind of interactions.
Yeah, but that's for me. That right? Hold on. AI video. So I watched a Casey Neistat on YouTube this morning. I think it only came out last night or this morning. And there's a new TikTok. I think it's called Saru or Sura or something like that, by OpenAI. When you start it up, you scan your face like this, and then you go video of me, 1930s James Bond style thing, and then you get an AI video of you. And he did a whole video of it, and he was talking about it's cool, but it's slop, and he explained why. And he said I'm not anti it actually, but so go and watch that. That's worthwhile. So it does exist. Whether it exists for 1 hour long form, I don't know, but that'd be interesting to see.
It's how you take that and use it, isn't it? It's like if you're taking the piss out of yourself, absolutely. That's a great example of being able to use that kind of filterage type thing. We've had filters on your phones for bloody years. It's just not using that as gold for your business, and that's not expecting that's going to be the magic bullet.
I think there was also, there's lots of trends that me and James talked about for ages. James Gale, whose space we're sat in, but like for me, we talk about like there's a monkey vlogging and like stupid shit like that. There's this is actually really creative, and this is actually part of the creativity process, right? Yeah. And that doesn't take away from like me AI and myself. And I think actually, are we ever going to get to a world where we're completely AI? Probably not. I don't think society will accept it, to be honest.
Are we going to be?
Will we have the tech to do it? Sure, probably, yeah.
I just feel like we're going to be, you know that Disney film WALL-E, when actually they're in a spaceship, there's big fat blimps just going around because they haven't. That's how I feel we're probably never going to get to, but maybe.
Our kids can tell us. We won't know. What's the other thing I was going to say?
You're not the interviewer, by the way.
No, I know. It was just following on the points. But the AI thing, I think, it's there for the things that aren't in your zone of genius or you don't want to do. And I think that's no different to outsourcing, right? Mm-hmm. People outsource their social media because they can't get their head around it, don't know what to do, don't know how to do it.
Or just have no interest in doing it.
Or don't have any interest.
But they understand they need it for the business, right? Yeah. They want the visibility. They understand that opportunities will come if they're on it. Yeah. But the idea of them doing it is like, no.
Especially as, going back to, like, whatever your goal is probably the most important thing, with your why and everything else. And if you've got, Emily mentioned forest bathing, we've got a client who's a forest bathing instructor. She wants to go forest bathing, right? That's what she wants to do. She wants to take people forest bathing. Does she want to sit there doing short form, blog, SEO? Probably not. No. So why would you not utilise what is about to do it? Now, we always say to a certain extent you should still input, because actually if you truly outsource your social media,
It's never going to be you.
It's never going to be you, right? It's really difficult to get it right. And actually, AI would probably be more you than outsourcing it to an individual, right? A human being, which is...
Especially if you become skilled at training AI,
yes.
right? Which is the important element, right? Yeah. A lot of commonalities is people open ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, whatever you're using, and go, write me a social media post for X business, right? And then they're like, why does it sound robotic? Why does it sound weird? Because what they're not doing is saying, here's stuff I've written, here's what I've said, here's my terminology, here's the words I use, here's the word I don't use, etc. And then once you do that, it's like, well, it actually will be pretty close. And then you should tweak it and you should read it and you should adapt it, right? And you mentioned Gary Vee earlier. He still writes 95% of his posts, right? Now, right? So yes, he's a big influencer, he has lots of team, but if he's capable of doing it, what's really your excuse for not doing it? Like, really?
Yeah. And this is exactly it. He's like probably the most hard-working person on the planet. I don't think he ever sleeps, does he, at Gary Vee? He never does.
Don't know.
But it's like,
do you live with him?
No, I'm close to one with the energy level, thank you very much. I don't even know what my point was. Oh, no, it's like, there is no excuse. And if you want it bad enough, you bloody well just do it.
Thing is, I think he does, because he talks about sleep all the time. He says, I get 8 hours, but that doesn't matter. The 16 hours I'm awake is what matters.
That's what's mattering with it, exactly.
His output within the 16 hours is so efficient and so well done that he can outperform... And he's also been doing it a billion years, right?
There is that other point, right? If we're going to talk about social media for a second, and okay, so I'm one of the believers that volume is key. Actually, I'm okay with vanity metrics. I think they're an indicator. So if you've got one like and you've got 1,000 likes, I think it's fair to say that there's a potential that your 1,000 like account may bring you in more kind of inquiries. Could, right? Probably will, could.
Depends on how engaged that one person is.
I know, because someone will prove me wrong. You are right.
But if you were taking a broad generalization, you would say if I'm hitting 100k, like I am right now, roughly every month, and someone's hitting 10k, I'm probably going to have more inquiries, probably going to have more people talking about my brand and my business and me than someone who's 20 or 30k.
I think that's fair to say. What was my point? But I think one of the challenges, especially if we're going back to small business owners, solopreneurs, is the long post, right? A lot of posts are long, whereas going back to Gary Vee, lots of his are extremely short, and they're a repurposed piece of content. They're not fresh content. They're a video he did 5 years ago that whether he's got AI editing it or he's got an editor editing it, he's bringing back out, he's repackaging and everything else. And we shared some online visibility Christmas tips in a newsletter just to help people get their heads around it. And it sounds unbelievably crazy, but coming up with some optimized content, so content that will appear when people are looking for an answer, that could be around something Christmassy, will work for you on your socials, on your newsletter, and in the kind of search engine results every single year. Every single year. So it's once again, we're back to efficiency.
And it is efficiency. And I just think we, in a small business bubble that we all kind of sit within, there's this kind of, almost we protect our mental health, where we go, it's okay.
You're going there, you're brave.
No, it is, because we protect it from being...
I went to vanity metrics, you're going to mental health.
Protecting your time, you don't want to overload the system, don't do too much more, you don't need to put 50,000, quality over quantity, or all those things that we hear.
Is that an excuse, though?
It's not an excuse. No, I don't believe it is.
The anti-hustle noise drives me up the wall. And
I just think if you've got, and it comes back to being efficient, so if you've got long-form content, and this is why you and I, all three of us, love long-form content, is that you have so much more opportunity with it. If you've put it through, I don't know, Riverside or whatever, and you've got yourself 50 clips, why would you not put all those 50 clips out?
So hold on, let's break that down, right? You do one video, okay? So you film an hour-long conversation, you put it on YouTube, gets 10 views, okay? Fine. You live stream it to 4 platforms, okay? All 4 of them get 10 views. You've now got 40 views, right? If you then take the recording, do a bit of tidying up and put it on YouTube in December, like you said, you've now got 50 views, right? You take that recording, you chuck it through, whether you want to do it manually or an open AI thing, you're sat here going, what the heck do I put on social media for the next month? Yeah. And let's say you come up with 10 shorts that all have 10 views again, and 10 views on each of the 3-4 platforms you repurpose it onto, which you can automate. All of a sudden, your 110 view has got 1,000 views. Yeah. And if they're the same 10 people multiple times, then you're hitting multiple touch points with those people, so they're more likely to convert into warm audience.
And I don't think people should demonise doing more if you want to, because if you have capacity and you want to, fair play to you.
There was a lot of noise, wasn't there, for a while?
For a long time, it was just like do less and be more efficient. And
but I'm not hitting my goals. But
if you're only putting 3 posts on Instagram a week and you're wondering why you're not getting sales, mate, come on. Again, what else can you do to amplify? And I think, when we were advertising the Funpreneurs Big Day Out back in June.
Thank God, I've been working out how to crowbar it in.
But I'm there telling your close family and friends, could you please, if you see a post, share it. But the stuff you do as a small business owner. My mum's like, Ems, when are you going to share it? Like, I can't find it. Like, even my mum can't see that post because they don't see it. And we know what algorithms are like. We know it pushes you further away from people. So you have to do more because that person may not see that one post out of your 3 that week. But if you are consistently putting stuff out, that is still quality because the original content is quality.
But it's also like, what is value? That's down to the market to choose. That's quantitative in regards to like the person watching it, not you, right? Me giving as much business advice for an hour, you guys giving the business advice for an hour. If you're not a business owner, it's not very valuable.
Yeah, but they have that thumb. They can scroll.
It's just like, don't watch it, especially on an interest card base. You just won't be served it. It's you won't even see it, right? So you don't even know it exists.
Yeah. But people are not going to be offended because they've seen that one short 3 or 4 times. They've already seen it or not seen it. They are just going to scroll past. I think we take it far too personally that we're interrupting people's lives. And like you said, most of the time they haven't even seen it in the first place, and you're not interrupting anybody. Yeah.
Do you know one of the other things? I think this all fits in. If we're sharing kind of thought process and tips, was make sure that we prefer target audience to ideal client, but make sure your target, you're only connected with your target audience. Don't do it. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you remove potential opportunity? So we don't remove people who aren't in our target audience. We just allow it to build because we want fans of our brand. We want people to know the name Yellow Tuxedo. We want people to talk about it. But then what you get is opportunity. And you said this earlier about people who say, oh, there's no business in December. Rather than saying there's no business in December, why don't you go, what could I sell this December? Because people are definitely spending money in December, right? They may be spending on something else. And let's use forest bathing. Nicola, hi Nicola.
She'll be watching.
She'll be fine with this. Let's use forest bathing Nicola again, right? Nicola takes people forest bathing. That's what she do. I don't know if Nicola would say this, but absolutely I could imagine she could go, December's not as busy for me, right? Because people are partying or whatever. But you could bring out a gift voucher. You could bring out some in-home experience that could be bought in a box. I know she does forest bathing in a box. There are other opportunities. A range of waterproof jackets Nicola could bring out that would be brilliant for the winter because she goes forest bathing if she wanted to. There is a plethora of
you got plethora. It only took you.
Well, it took us ages to get to Funpreneurs Big Day Out and plethora. That's one of our buzzwords.
We have like a business bingo lingo type thing, and plethora comes out.
Plethора's on our list, yeah.
Plethora comes out a lot.
So, and that's the thing. I want to go, what can I do differently? And once again, it might take time. So you could have a conversation with AI and go, December always feels busy. This is my business. What could I do differently? You could ask your community you're a member of, like the Digital Circus.
We've had Decembers where we've thought we were going to be quiet. They have been our busiest months, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, you used to say December's quiet, and I used to say, can you stop saying that? Because there's no logic for December's being quiet. And then we literally got an inquiry on the 31st of November for this fantastic project that led us up to Christmas, which we then stopped for 2 weeks to spend it with the kids. Right?
I think the key, and I think originally it was Alex Emoji who said it, but if no one, like not every single person on the planet knows you, then you need to market more.
Yeah, I do agree.
Like, simple as that. And I keep having multiple points whenever I do a podcast, whenever I do an event, etc., where like, I think someone said it in the event I did in September. I forget who exactly it was, but it doesn't matter. The point still stands, which is like, well, actually, you're marketing too much. Someone said, I'm marketing too much. I said, okay. But then someone literally within the same room said, in the second after that, they said, yeah, but not every single person in the world knows Colton, therefore no, then he hasn't. Because the thing is, yes, I may not want work as of today's live stream, necessarily, okay? If the right project comes in and I can make it work, cool, yes, sure. But as I said earlier, I will want work in January, February, March, April, so on. And the thing that people don't understand or don't think about sometimes when they do marketing is you need to front load it by 3 months for it to then work. because it takes time for people to firstly see the content, then go, actually, hold on, do I even want to, what does this person sell? What the fuck? Like, who, what, do I even like this person? And then once they're there...
It takes a long time to go from,
It's also a really, some people are, really slow burn. We had a speaking gig 2 years ago now, when we were in Bournemouth, a speaking gig 2 years ago from someone who had been... She'd known us from our previous business, which was in the events industry. That was back in 2012. She'd been following us. She's one of those lurker type people who had never interacted with us, had never liked or commented but
we weren't connected on any
platforms. But she'd gone, I see everything you're doing. I really want you on my stage. Will you be there? And like, that was a 10-year burn, man. Like it was a really long, but you can't, work out when those opportunities are going to be.
But
there.
you could have stopped 2 years. You could have stopped 2 years ago, and it wouldn't have. You won't have, quote, hit the glass ceiling with it.
Totally right.
Going back to the Alex Hormozy talking about, does everyone in the world know? Look, we have to go, right. We are huge advocates on aligning it to your goal and business on your terms, right? So some people are not going to want everyone in the world to know who they are. But there was this other one I quite liked, another quote from an influencer who basically said, if you are not full up, market harder. If you are full up, increase your prices. Yep. And I just feel we all get caught up in the noise, get caught up in the narrative, get caught up in all of this. And I think there are some someone once asked us, we were talking about our online visibility model, and they went, how much time a week would you spend in this, doing this? And we went, as much spare time as we have, because that we are putting into our business. Because if we're not doing that, then we should only not be doing that because we're full up, or we're at the capacity we are choosing to be at. And when we're at the capacity we're choosing to be at, then we're going on holiday. We're going to the park with the kids. We're going on adventures because this is our, that's what we want to do. So
but that's your decision to make, right?
Absolutely.
That's your life choice. And that's why it irritates me when people go, I don't have the work-life balance I want, right? It's like, well, especially if you're an entrepreneur, it really irritates me because I'm just like, then take on less work and be okay with making less money.
Adjust what you do, change your business plan if you need to, come up with a slightly higher ticket item, potentially, right? That might help with that.
I mean, there's a reason we're not in Barbados just yet.
No, of course not.
Yeah, but do you want to be on Barbados? Do you want to
I'm
be?
not going to say no if someone buys me a flight ticket. Okay, no, I don't want to.
You know we don't.
We don't want to, but we've designed it, and we talk about, it's again so buzzwordy, we talk about like what life-work blend, and it's going to be very much incorporated our lifestyle, and we can't, we don't have capacity to be 1,000% all the time. We can't, we'd burn out. But we do get the time with our kids. We do get to spend time together. Alan and I work together as best friends and partners, lovers, all that. That's really, I know. We've chosen that. However, if we want to be more, we have the tools, we have the knowledge. We could really scale it up if we wanted to, but we choose at this point to hold back a little bit. But when we want to be, we will be in Barbados.
Yeah. Well, what we have done, we've integrated. So we're evolving Yellow Tuxedo a little bit as well. So not only do we show people how to do online visibility, which really is about them having efficiency, simplicity, time and space. So when they are marketing hard, it's actually working harder for them. It helps it become more efficient. Yeah. So rather than throwing
higher leverage,
Yeah. But the other thing we're bringing online is back to this kind of whole time and space and efficiency. We're bringing on some events, right? So we do the Funpreneurs Big Day Out, which is about solopreneurs, freelancers getting together. It's kind of a day focused on fun to get out of your business. But what you actually get when you focus on fun is stronger relationships, stronger connection, creative thought processes. You get so much more when you're not focusing on those things and you're focusing on over here. And I sort of was chatting to someone recently about who they'd come to the Funpreneurs Big Day Out this year. We'd never really met them before. They were completely cold. They just came along, brilliant, winning. And I said, oh, how was it? She said, oh yeah, I sent some business over to such and such recently. And I said, oh, that's cool. She said, well, if I'm not honest, she said, once you've screamed next to each other on a roller coaster, your kind of trust level goes up monumentally with them. So it was easy for me to do. And that's complete, contrast to delivering an elevator pitch around a table. And we're looking, Emily's got a retreat coming online in March. Not online, it's not coming online. It's already
not online,
there.
It's in person.
2/3 full up. So be quick if you want to go to March on Emily's retreat.
Look at you crowbarring. No.
I'm crowbarring it all in, Emily. We're putting a trip to Morocco together. We're taking people up Pen y Fan because actually our love is adventures. We've always seen business as an adventure. So then it's like, well, actually, let's bring the more literal adventures in for the people who want them.
And I think that's coming full circle. Full circle.
You are Did you?
I'm sorry.
You're such a coach.
But it's about going back to the online ecosystem and getting your online affairs in order and having those foundations in place. It makes your life simpler. Once you've got that in place, you can go to Morocco, right? But you need to stop whinging when it's not working, because you're not taking that time to build what's going to lift you up. And you have to put that effort in, and it comes right back to...
Sorry.
We can't... Oh, we could do it for you if you want to. But, you have to...
Kids do need shoes.
do need shoes. And it's Christmas coming up. We need to buy presents. No one's going to do it for you. You have to put up your big pants, like Gail Tong would say, put up your big pants and just do the thing. Even if it was really awkward, even if you don't like the camera, if you're doing content, even if you don't like pressing buttons because you're worried you're going to break the tech, go and either find someone to support you doing those things or just get over yourself and do it.
Well,
really.
Ricky's Ricky Locke, long-term friend of Yellow Tuxedo, member of the Digital Circus. He's a great one. I was catching up with him this week. We're just kind of hanging out, chatting. And he's evolving his business. He's been doing it 5-6 years. He was a wedding and events magician, still is, but he's evolving into confidence speaking around the world. He's done a TED talk recently. And he basically said, it's difficult to deliver this because it was basically telling us what we taught him was brilliant. But he basically said, the years hanging out and kind of proactively building his ecosystem have allowed for him to evolve his business now in the direction he wants. Because what he's seeing is, on a random blog post that he optimized 3 years ago, he's getting 3 inquiries a month just off that one blog post as an example, on top of everything else, because he's done he's done and some collaborative stuff and some social media over the years and completely built ecosystem. It all has its place. As people need those multiple touch points, they get to watch a video, listen to a podcast, read an email, do X, Y, Z. So his conversion rate's gone up, his inquiry rates have gone up. He's over here doing his TED talk, becoming a confidence coach, working with, I can't remember the other team, he's CEO of the Confidence Club. How could I forget that? And all this other stuff. It's the direction he wants to evolve to. But his magician stuff, his wedding stuff, is just ticking over nicely for him.
But I think the equity you gain by being visible and being on marketing, you know what will work in the market because you've got feedback from yesterday. Right, so I can tell you what the best performing reel of this week is because I look at it, because I put them out and I see the views. But also, in a time, I think Gary Vaynerchuk said this mostly, like in a time when things become harder, right, economically, either like where you are or just your own business because of XYZ, are you willing to put the extra work in to make sure that is not the case, right? It would be wrong of me to not look at the market right now and say I understand that people are finding it difficult. Right, I get that, sure, okay, but then my question is, how do we fix that problem? Not, people are struggling. Like, I was having a conversation with my partner yesterday, and I was like, people like, because I think on the news it said like people are worried about their job security, and this sounds horrible to say, but I was like, are they? And it's not that I don't understand.
Problem, you watch the news, just don't watch the news.
Well, there you go. I guess the crux though is I was like, I'm so engrossed in my world and I'm so engrossed with, quote, how well I'm doing and what I've got going on that it kind of took me, I was like, shit, fuck, really? Because I was like, I like empathetically, I'm like, shit, that's really bad. And like I wouldn't want anyone to feel that way. But like for me, I'm that then also, if that is you in that position and you are listening to this and that is you in that position, what are you doing as a backup plan? Are you online? Etc. Like, don't talk about, like, if you're at a company and they've made very clear to you, don't talk about the company. Here's an idea, don't talk about the company. Might be a good idea. But you have a load of other stuff that you can talk about. And that was going to be my next question, which is like, how do we weave that line of talking about personal, talking about the person, right? Colton, Emily, etc. And then the business. And it's still being, quote, authentic. Buzzword. Bleh.
I don't like authentic. I don't, because I just kind of think if you're not being authentic, surely you are surely you're just being you, right? So if you're having to say that you're being authentic, you're not being authentic.
I'm being my authentic.
So I'm going to be devil's advocate here. So let's be honest. Some people don't find everything simple and easy, right? Clearly, we are happy being ourselves, sitting around the table, chatting, right? Fine. Others may not find that. But what happens with all these things is, like the anti-hustle culture, like the be authentic thing, they all have their place for the right people. Yeah. But I was speaking to someone the other day and she was like, what's she into? I've forgotten. She was really interesting, actually. So she's a nutritionist.
Alan does more one-to-ones than I do.
I know, I just love chatting. So she's a nutritionist, and she went, well, I was going to be like a perimenopausal, I can't remember whether she said coach, but for the sake of this, I'll just say coach, right? Help me with it. But she said there was so much noise about perimenopause at the time. But I've got to be very careful here, right? But she said, I didn't...
very brave mentioning that.
No, I know. I'm so nervous. But she said, I didn't want to do it. And I find that in this world, that there's peaks and troughs of noise. And for the vast majority of us, the answer is just crack on, be yourself, be a bit more efficient, make some more noise, right? Be a bit more visible.
Well, lean in and then do it longer, I would say. If truly, like, so I want to talk about marketing, I want to talk about video, I want to talk about doing, okay, I'm doing it for 10 years. That's my sprint. My sprint is 10 years. Let's see if you can keep up, right? There's lots of other people who are doing it, sure. But have you been doing it as long as I have? Probably not.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's like The Rock always says, be the hardest worker in the room, doesn't it? Yeah. But then once again, that does have to align with your goals.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have quite a few clients who are, what's the polite phrase? They're older than us. And
more mature clients.
I think the term is on the way down, or on the wind down.
On the wind. Some aren't. Some are hungry for
we have a whole host of clients that we work with who are in their latter stages of their career life, who are not slowing down. They've got, and actually they're the best workers we have in terms of taking ownership and doing it. They've been through the career ladder, they've done things, they've maybe changed complete direction, they've maybe got to their...
They understand working hard.
They understand work ethic. It's an amazing thing to have because they've done that their entire lives. And then it's all like that final sprint to retirement, or not retirement, because loads of people don't even want to retire, is that this is my last career, the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make it count. And they are the best workers. I really,
well,
really
Michelle Armitage is
you are dropping names today.
Well, not, because they're compliments, right? So Michelle Armitage had a corporate life. I think she said she was 10 years from retirement if she wanted it. She didn't. She quit. She wrote the book for the topic that no one else had written the book on, but she was interested in something, went to find a book on it, no one had written it, so wrote it, right? It was on design psychology and how you mix psychology with design, literal design. And so she wrote the book, and now she talks about that. She's bringing that into business. But I love that. She could have just done that last 10 years, but went, no, I want more out of my life than this. And I respect that. So.
We, going back to your question about sort of bringing that person into the business, I think a lot of us spend too much time comparing ourselves to what other people in our industries are doing and what we should be doing, and then that whole transactional thing comes back out to it. Like, I don't know if anyone's seen any of our social media reads, and if you're watching live, some of you who are watching us would probably know this.
Hello?
The conversation about the bears.
The
bears, right? And this is a great example. I don't know if, Carlton, you've seen our video on bears.
I'll be honest, I haven't.
Okay, so...
I'm now going to go and watch the conversation
so
about
we
bears.
won in the summer one of those giant Costco teddy bears. You know, they're like the massive ones, bigger than Alan. And I was like, oh, crap. Thank you very much.
Well, Joseph won one at a fair. Our youngest child won one at a fair.
And then we went to another fair about a month ago, and our middle child was a bit upset, and he accidentally won. I think they felt sorry for him and gave him another giant bear. So we have two of these damn massive things, and we haven't got the biggest house. We're not in a mansion. We're not in Barbados yet. We've already said that. And then a couple of weeks ago, another giant bear anonymously arrived on our doorstep. Just someone brought, and we were like, fuck, what are we going to do with these massive things? And that became, again, it was a light-hearted bit of banter. It became a bit of content on there because it wasn't about online visibility. It wasn't about digital marketing or social media. We just put some posts out about the bear. And then what we couldn't have accounted for after that was the conversation from people outwardly who were watching our stuff, sending us bears in the post. We have had mini bears put, we've had Care Bears through the post, we've had people, and the conversation and content that came on, it's been hilarious. That's nothing to do with what we do, but they're getting to know us. They're looking at our tone and our fact that we don't take ourselves too seriously, and the fact that we are
just human beings.
And also, it was content gold. We did a reel in the end of us beating up the bears. Adam actually had put his shoulder.
I still have a bad shoulder.
He's got a bad shoulder. He kind of threw it on the floor and kind of rammed it and hurt his shoulder.
Approaching 50 and doing a big elbow on a cuddly bear on the floor is not a good idea.
But we didn't go, do we have permission to do that kind of content? Does it fit with our content strategy? How are we going to tie it into some sort of really convoluted business message?
I should have stood up and gone, join the digital circus.
But I think...
Because some business people would have said that. They would have seen that and they would have gone, what's the ROI on that?
That's it. And that's what pisses me off.
And for those who don't know, it's return on investment, right? But like...
It really pisses me off when people do that,
Every single post in their head, in that person's head.
What's the business learning?
What's the business ROI? What's the business ROI?
And they'll put and I'll see a post that's different on LinkedIn in particular with this, and I get really excited because I can start to see someone just being a little bit more confident to go, I'm just going to share this today. And then I read the entire post and go, oh, there it is. There it is at the bottom. I'm like, you didn't have to do that.
Do you know the challenges? We've always talked about this. The challenge with a black and white marketing strategy, and I understand, it's a bit like the law, right? When you're kind of doing, the law has to be black and white. But, you know, it's that classic, yeah, but I was doing 34 in the 30, but you're doing 4 miles per hour over. Like, no, I know it was, but it was clear, it was open, you know, surely, no, you're over, right? There has to be a line, right? And marketing's very much like that. There has to be a line. You have to look at the statistics. But sometimes what's ignored is we're all humans, right? Yeah. I talk to my mum. My mum talks to give me one of my aunts.
Doreen.
Auntie Doreen, right? They talk. People talk in the pub. You know, we always joke. We wear yellow all the time.
Well, sometimes at weekends I might wear red.
We have clients that have come from the school run because we've got talking on the school run wearing yellow, okay? Where does that fit into a marketing strategy? You know, we had one of the houses we walk past every day shouted over going, I know you two, you know my daughter, she's XYZ. And we go, yeah, we do. So we've had a chat. They now know us. And that's the challenge in this. I just sometimes think like, in this, I'm going to turn off my marketing, turn on my marketing, turn off it, or turn on making noise. I'm going to switch off for this period of time. I'm going to do that. Do you know what? You do what you want because we are big on business on your terms. But if you're not achieving your goal yet, then you probably need to be doing something different or more, you know, and that's the thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Thanks.
What do you think the future for small business marketing is going to look like? Is it going to be that
crystal ball cards? I can't.
Is it going to be that AI world? Do you think, or is it going to be actually the other way? Is it going to be more about what we just discussed about, you know, those random posts about bears? Or
I think something needs to crack at some point, and I can't tell you the future with AI
because there has been noise around social media for small businesses dead at the moment. But I'm like, well, it's not really, is it?
No.
So you know,
I would definitely say it's not.
No, I don't know the answer, to be honest. I think that something needs to switch. I think we are on a train right now with this whole, like going back to the very first question about, you know, what we see the gap is, that formulaic, this is how you do this is how you have a product. I'm a small business, and because people are bored to tears of it. I'm bored to tears of it, and I'm sure as hell if I'm bored, the person creating that's bored of it, and I don't necessarily think everyone's getting what they want from that kind of content. So something has to massively shift. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We realised the other day, we were chatting to someone else who said, because we're here for the normal, and we use the word normal, 2025. We're here for the normal people, the people like you and I.
I think I can't say that.
But she turned around and you do realise you're not the normal ones. And
it actually really knocked us for 6. It still sits in my head.
In terms of like,
we were the
normal
ones.
Just having, I don't know, with the confidence to do you, to not take yourself too seriously, to really hone in on and being a bit different sometimes, and not feeling that you have to listen to the noise. Not everyone's like that, but actually I really wish people were more like that.
Going back to listening to the noise, that's a standard thing. I can't remember the psychology for it, but there is that you follow the trend, right? You do that because it's you're frightened to put your head above the parapet. You don't want to stand out. You know, there's a lot of people that will be where they're at. Going back to what the future, I don't know what the future is, but what excites me is, you know, if you think about, we were talking about the people a bit older than us who are in business, and when they were young, you know, the social media didn't exist when I was young. So what excites me is the young people now, like our children, who are 12, 10 and 8 nearly, and what they're going to be like in 50 years. That's what kind of excites me, what their future will be like, assuming it's not exploded, imploded, blown up, or AI's enslaved us all, assuming it's something relatively normal. That excites me to see where, they could take it, because it does move fast at this sort of perpetuating rate, and I'm being kind of keen to see where it goes. It's exciting, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's not our job to say where it's going to go necessarily, but also we have the permission to do the new thing that we want to, either because we want to pivot into it or because we have the bandwidth to do it on top of everything else.
That's the biggest.
There's,
The bandwidth is the biggest one.
I'm massively into running. It's like absolutely one of my favourite things in the world, but not like athletics running, trail running.
I'm not your favourite thing in the world.
After my family and my wife, my gorgeous wife, running possibly is my first.
I understand where I sit. It's fine. It's fine.
But there's something that always struck with me when I watch interviews and everything else, and it's like you can have the best strategy in the world, you can have the best plan for a race day, you can have all of it, you could have done the best training, but sometimes you just need to go wild from the start line, you know, because the plan would say, start, check your heart rate zones, make sure you stay in zone, whichever zone you want to be in for the correct race, make sure you do this. Sometimes go wild is actually the answer. And I think it was one of the Kenyan female runners who she said, I was on the start line, I think she won the London Marathon about 5-10 years ago, I can't remember her name. And she's like, I just went wild and I did it. You know, you smashed it out of the park. And that's that kind of, you are capable of more than you think you are. You can do more than you think you can. You can do that.
But you have to push to your limit to know where that line is. Yeah.
You have to go, and sometimes you have to break out the strategy out of the plan. We always talk jokingly. We say you don't leave us with a strategy or a plan. You leave with a pirate map. He's in what's the film called with Johnny Depp?
Pirates of the
I
Caribbean.
know, I just couldn't think of it. Like, because they talk about
clues in the title.
I know. I just went like, they always talk about it's more guidelines rather than rules. So we want people to leave with guidelines rather than rules. It's like when you lay your foundations out, you can then mark it on your terms on top of it. Yeah. But once you've got your foundations done, then you can do what you want. And that's the thing, you know, go wild, do what you want.
Go wild.
I didn't jump on any of your stuff, Charlie.
For those who don't know who you are, who
why not?
Want
why don't you
to,
know everything about us?
Who want to see more, who want to connect with what you're doing, who want to look a little bit more into some of the stuff you discussed. Where's best for people to reach out to you?
Everywhere. And that's the thing for us.
My head said reach round then, by the way, and I really started laughing. I was like, oh my God, he said reach round. Right,
if you find us on social media, we're at Yellow Tuxedo. If you want to check our website, it's yellowtuxedo.co.uk. And that's the thing for us. We are very much about omni-channel. So we will be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, everywhere. We are on Twitter. Don't find us there. Twitter people, don't come and find us. We're not your people.
I disagree. If that's what you want, then that's fine. But yeah, but that's we've got to keep it simple. And actually, on that omni-channel, I know we're wrapping up slowly, but we see that, you know, I saw someone who'd commented on one of our TikToks, and this was repurposed content, not fresh on each platform. And then about 48 hours later, was following on the conversation, continuing on the conversation on my LinkedIn post. And it's like, you just can't ignore that in this modern world. You know, even the most stalwart kind of serious business owner is watching a car video or a running video or whatever on YouTube on a Friday night and potentially flicking through, you know, stuff on some form of short form on Sunday. It happens. Yeah. Play the game, right? So.
I think, you know, if I want to get strategic, you could say their mindset's in a different time when they're watching YouTube or on Instagram than when they are on LinkedIn, right? But in reality, it's all the same people.
Of course it is.
And the more touch points you have with them, regardless of whether they're going to refer work to you or not, or they're going to work with you directly or not.
Touch points, virtual doors, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. You need to create those opportunities that are working for you whilst you're doing what you love, basically.
Yeah.
You know.
If you were going to give advice to either yourself 10 years ago or the other person 10 years ago, what would you say?
Convince Alan that yellow is not the colour we need in our business.
No, because you know that's not even vague. Come on, Emily, what would you wish we'd done 10 years ago?
Oh, there's so many things we could have said to ourselves 10 years ago. But again, we didn't have a crystal ball then. And
this is our second business in 10 years.
Yeah, we've been in business together 12 years. And I don't know, I think so we had a little dip very, very quickly. So we had a little dip where we went hard networking for such a long time, and then we realised that by doing that and that thing, going back to the whole one thing, we were detracting from us and how we want to be and how we want to be seen and all of those things that, you know, we gave ourselves permission again to go, just be you and don't feel that you need to kind of do all this stuff that you really, really, really doesn't align with you. So I would say, making sure we stayed true to ourselves and carried on that amazing adventure. You? No way!
Oh, no.
Way!
That is the point.
Yeah, because out of all of it, that's right. So, okay.
Quickly, Alan, quickly.
Okay, I'm a big fan of being memorable. Okay, I know, right. Be memorable, okay? So, We run a free coffee morning, first Friday of every month, okay? And we come along and we talk. The short answer is we talk utter nonsense, and where the conversation goes, nobody knows, right? No one does an elevator pitch. Introductions are conversations, and we have 10 odd people, and introductions are 45 minutes, and we have 15 minutes of what are you up to at the weekend. What I remember is that person's just built an extension. That person's just done that. I don't know that they are a branding designer that specialises in coffee shops because that's their niche. I can find that out later. For the moment, be memorable. Be as memorable as you can be. And if you think you're boring, you possibly are, I'm not being rude, but that will be memorable in its own way. You can still find your audience. So
You just called you boring, Carlton.
I didn't. Not even vaguely.
You're boring.
How have you made that about Carlton?
You just looked at him and said you're boring.
You were in a conversation with him, you douchebag. So it's the be memorable, and when you follow a strategy or a plan, you're probably not being as memorable as you think you could be or should be. Can't say should.
And I think, just as a final thought, it's not up to you to choose who remembers you and how they remember you either. Outside of you can make like clear, like deciding points, what you wear, how you make people feel, those things, sure. But whether someone does or not shouldn't be down to you.
Totally, and that's like someone's opinion is none of your business. Is the phrase, isn't it? It's none of your business. And if they
how someone's business is doing is nothing to do with you either. You should be focused on you and you alone.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly the right fact. And yeah, I don't know. We are like Marmite, but that's a great thing. People who want to be around us will be around us. If they don't, see you later.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Any final thoughts?
No, just that you're wonderful, and thanks for having us back.
Thanks for having us back on. Appreciate it.
No, you're very welcome. And if you did enjoy this video and you would like to see more like it, then make sure to be subscribed. YouTube thinks you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you very, very soon.